Hi guys, Russ here from Wilson Land Cattle Company. Today we are building a new wire clamp tool. Let's go take a look at them. It was kind of like a steady progression here. I messed a lot of stuff up figuring out, and that's part of manufacturing stuff. I've had many subscribers reach out to me and they stress their dislike of the wire clamp tool, and I'll put a link in the description down below of how much wire it wastes. You know, it wastes up to 11 inches of wire, somewhere 12 inches, sometimes more, maybe 16 inches of wire. So I had a subscriber reach out to me and he sent me a video. In the video that I watched, to me, the wire clamp was not completed. So I thought about it. So I went ahead and done a ratcheting wrench. And I believe they used a 1/2 inch in theirs. I'm using 5/16 or 8 millimeter in the ones that we're building here. And I'm going to have these for sale too. So check out www.russwilson.net and go to the shop. If there isn't any in the shop there, shoot me an email and I'll get some made for you. So, but I wanted to walk you through. This is my first generation. This is the first one that I made. I just bent it over. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't look good. This was made out of a Craftsman ratcheting wrench, and I wonder if Craftsman would give me a warranty on that because the other half is gone. This is the first generation, and I put this roll pin in there because that roll pin actually helps with the wire clamping process. Second generation, I wanted this as close to the ratchet mechanism as I could get it to try and eliminate waste of wire. Problem is the ratcheting mechanism is made out of brass, I believe. I don't know. I can't get one of these apart. I'm actually going to cut one apart here at some point and take a look at it. But if you get it too hot, it won't work. I can't turn it. So I went with this method. I cut the end of the wrench off and welded it on there. And still too close. Couldn't make it work. So I went and I bought the ratcheting wrench that has the flex to it, and I took the flex head off, and the ratchet wrench works perfectly, other than I got it on there backwards. It works perfectly, but whenever you're winding your wire up, it wants to fold to one side or another. And I was hoping that that would be beneficial on the aspect that it would take more slack up on one side than it would the other, but it just wants to actually fold completely over. So that did not work out well, you know, other than we didn't destroy a ratcheting mechanism. So I built this one, which turned out pretty good, but you can feel that there's still not quite, it's still not quite right. So this here's the 6th generation, which this is what we settled for. We welded the wrench on a piece of 1/4 inch stainless. I've been working a lot with stainless lately. I like it on the aspect as it does not rust. Or it can rust, but it doesn't. It just gets like a surface rust on it. As I was saying, this is a 5/16 inch wrench and an 8 millimeter wrench, and they're both the same. That's what I settled on. Okay, and we got our wrench away from the heat enough that it's not melting the gears in the wrench. This here's generation 6. I don't think I'm going to change it. I use a piece of 1/4-inch stainless and I thread the end, put a little ball on it to just give it that finished look. Whenever I want to build something, whenever I build something especially to sell, I want it to make it look like it was built with love. So that's what I do. And then this here is just a steel roll pin. I went and I bought some stainless steel roll pins that we're going to start using instead of the standard steel ones. So let's hop on over here, and I'm not gonna go through and build this thing. I'd rather just walk through the process of making it, and then I'm gonna actually do another video on using it. That way, whenever you folks, if you don't want to build one, you want to buy one from me, you can slip on over to that video, and I'll put a link in the description to that video whenever we get it made in this video below, and you can slip on over there and see how I use this tool. I'm just going to walk you through the steps. It's not, but I went ahead and I made just a simple jig because it's a lot easier and you can replicate what you're doing a lot easier. Okay, so we're going to take a new wrench. We want the ratcheting mechanism to turn clockwise whenever we're using it. And this here's down, clockwise. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put the shim underneath there, and I'm going to clamp it. Okay, and we want to make sure, I'm making sure it's parallel with that block of steel there, and I'm going to clamp this section down. I cut an angle on there, I just guess at it, and then I weld it together. I use stainless steel rods. You don't have to use stainless steel for this project. Use whatever you have. You have a piece of square bar, whatever, and then you don't have to necessarily have that roll pin on there. I'll weld this up, and then I'll end up with something that looks like that. Okay. Next step is to thread this on the end. So I'll lock that in there. I'll just wrap something around that piece of steel. It's a high-speed steel die. The regular tap-in dies that were octagon, the ones that I had, I couldn't touch stainless steel with it and do a decent job. I went ahead and I paid $14 for that. I think I paid $5 for the tap bar or whatever they want to call it. You don't have to put this ball on there. I'm just doing it to make it look nice and finished. In order for me to do stainless steel, I have to chamfer that a little bit for whatever reason. I don't know. But anyhow, just start our die on there, and then I just use a tapping or a cutting fluid. I just use 1 drop. That's about all it takes. And that cutting fluid is expensive, so you don't want to use much more than 1 drop. I think that little container, I bought it like 10 years ago, and it was $27 or $28 then. So spin it on there. It cuts beautifully. I'm really pleased with how it cuts. And then for the application that I'm doing, I just run it down so there's about 1/2 a thread sticking out, and then just spin it off. We need to cut this right here. Okay, and then we need to cut the end of it off, and then we need to put a little notch in it. Make it look something like that. And then what I do just to make it look a little nicer is I take a sanding disc. Clean it up, make it look nice. You don't have to do all these steps. These steps are just to make it look pretty. For you, if you are welding this, whenever you get done welding it, don't dip it in water, because this here's cast and it will shatter and you won't have a good bond. Okay, I got it buffed, got it nice and looking nice and pretty, and I need to put a little ball on it. And I hear Walker coming back, so I'm going to need to talk to him a minute. Just put a little ball on it. to give it that finished with love effect. Now we need to put a roll pin in there. What I'll do is I'm going to go in there, I'm going to drill an 1/8 inch hole right in that area right there. Got an 1/8 inch hole in there. And bought some roll pins. They're a little bit too long, so we're going to have to cut them off, which is okay. Now see how that's twisted in there? It's really hard to get that hole in there square with the way things are shaped. So I just bend it to make it look nicer. Like I said, if you don't have stainless, you don't need stainless. You don't absolutely have to have, you don't have a roll pin, you don't absolutely have to have that roll pin in there to make it work. Okay, now I'm going to go buff that end so it doesn't have any sharp edges on it. Okay, we got her buffed up. It looks pretty good. Now, this is a 2-piece tool. We need a piece of 8mm or 5/16 hex bar. This here stainless steel. I commit an inch and drill an 1/8 inch hole, go over 3/4 of an inch, drill an 1/8 inch hole, and then I leave an inch on the end. Okay, there's a couple purposes for that. One is for your ratchet. You're going to need a ratchet or a ratcheting wrench. Okay, I actually want it to go this direction. After I drill those 1/8 inch holes, then I'll take like a 1/4 inch bit and I'll chamfer them holes, because I've found if you don't chamfer them holes, it actually has sharp edges on there and it will cut your wire. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you can make one of these for yourself. Like I say, it doesn't have to be 1/4 inch round bar. It can be whatever you have laying around. You can use whatever. I mean, just a handle. In the video that I seen, they just used this wrench piece, which for me wasn't acceptable. So I went ahead and I put a stainless steel bar on it with a little knob to make it look nice, a roll pin, and then our hex bar. In the video that I seen, they cut a slot in here. The only problem with cutting a slot is you wrap your wire up, this is going to want to compress, and that's, to me, a design flaw. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to use this tool. If you liked the video, please subscribe. If you liked the video, please subscribe, like, comment, share with a friend, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one, guys, and have a good one.